Financial freedom. It can sound like a nice theory, but the truth is, it's possible for anyone to achieve. And I mean anyone. Even someone who once had tens of thousands of dollars in student debt, like yours truly. No matter what financial troubles you have today, there's always a way to get back to the black. What is financial freedom? Financial freedom is about taking ownership of your finances. You have a dependable cash flow that allows you to live the life you want. You aren't worried about how you'll pay your bills or sudden expenses, and you aren't burdened with a pile of debt. It's about recognizing that you need more money to pay down debt and maybe increasing your income with a side hustle, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. It's also about planning your long-term financial situation by actively saving for a rainy day or retirement. Here are 10 game-changing financial freedom tips. Tip number 1, understand where you're at. You can't achieve financial freedom without knowing your starting point. Look at how much debt you have, how much savings you don't have, and how much money you need. Well, that can be a depressing reality. But this is a valuable step in the right direction. Compile a list of all your debts, mortgage, student loans, car loans, credit cards, or any other debt that you may have accumulated. And don't forget to include any money that you may have borrowed from friends or family over the years. Now, take a deep breath and then add up the numbers. How much debt do you have? If it's a big number, don't freak out. I promise I'll share some ways with you to pay that down later on. If it's a small number, congratulations. Next, take a look at all the money you have saved up. Compile a list of your savings accounts, stocks, company stock matching programs, company retirement matching programs, and any other type of retirement plan. Then we'll add the recurring monthly payments you receive, such as salary, side hustle money, and so on. Keep these numbers in mind as we work through the next few financial freedom tips. Tip number 2, look at money positively. Debt can definitely be a little bit discouraging, but remember that money is a good thing. Even if it seems to carry a lot of burden right now, you deserve to achieve financial freedom. Money is simply a necessity like food or water. It helps you buy the things you need and live the life you want. To experience financial freedom, you're going to need to look at money as a tool to help you achieve your dreams, fuel your energy, and live a stress-free life as much as you can enjoy. Because if you view money negatively, you'll subconsciously sabotage your chances of making it and keeping it. Tip number 3, write down your goals. Why do you need money? Do you want to get rid of debt for good? Are you desperate to escape the 9-to-5 grind? Is there a place you've always wanted to travel to? Do you need to save for a wedding, kids, or retirement? When I achieved financial freedom, it was because I tied it to an emotional goal. My goal was to get out of student debt and save for my first home. And honestly, it was a euphoric experience watching the debt dwindle away as my savings rose. I got so excited by seeing the numbers change that I worked even harder to make more money, to see a bigger change in my personal finances. Would I have achieved my goal of financial freedom if I hadn't tied the goal to something emotional? Probably not. I was desperate to get out of debt and move out of my parents' house. That desperation kept me motivated throughout my journey. You might not accomplish everything you want in a month, but a year is a long time to make progress on your goals. Make sure your goal is tied to a specific number that you want to hit. Believe it or not, you'll start working towards these goals without even realizing it. Knowing exactly what you want to achieve makes achieving financial freedom a million times easier. Tip number 4, track your spending. An important step towards financial freedom is tracking your spending. You can use a tool like Mint, which will allow you to know exactly how much money you're spending, which categories you've overspent in, and how much money is in all your accounts, as well as how much debt you have. Another cool thing about Mint is that it allows you to set goals within the dashboard. You can keep track of your goals and know the exact month that you'll be expected to hit that goal based upon how much money you put in, thus keeping you accountable and reminding you to keep putting money towards it for you. Tip number 5, pay yourself first. You've probably heard the expression pay yourself first before, but in case you haven't, pay yourself first means putting a specific amount of money in your savings account before paying anything else. such as bills. And the act of paying yourself first has helped countless people inch closer to achieving financial freedom. Why? Because if you want to pay yourself $1,000 per pay period first, then whatever's left over needs to go towards the bills. And if you don't have enough to cover those bills, then you're forced to pick a side income to make up the costs. Tip number 6, spend less. In 1958, Warren Buffett purchased a 5-bedroom home for $31,500 and hasn't moved out of it since. His net worth? An astounding $90.3 billion. He can afford a bigger and more expensive home, but his frugality might very well be the reason why he is one of the world's richest people. By spending less, 2 things work in your favor. 1, you'll have more money to put aside for your financial freedom. 2, you'll learn that you actually need a lot less stuff to survive, which also helps you put aside more money. And this goes on to our next point. Tip number 7, buy experiences, not things. Life's short. It's not about hoarding all your cash until you're 65. You're allowed to enjoy life while you're alive. Ultimately, the things that have helped you live a more fulfilled life will be the experiences you have, not the products you own. And are the things that you buy making you happier over the long term? Does the debt that you have from buying a bunch of stuff make your life easier? Tip number 8, pay off debt. Some people will tell you that it's wiser to invest your money in stocks instead of paying off your debt. If you're an experienced stock picker, maybe that's true. But if you've never invested in stocks before, you could wind up with even more debt. A lot of people feel the same thing after finishing their last debt payment. Relieved. Let's say you have $50,000 of debt. Even if you have $30,000 cash in the bank, you can't really call yourself financially free. You're still $20,000 in the hole. While paying someone else isn't as glamorous as having money in the bank, it does bring you closer to financial freedom. There are 2 main methods of paying off debt: snowball and avalanche. Snowball is when you pay off the smallest debt first. Avalanche is when you pay off the debt with the highest interest rate. Tip number 9, create additional sources of income. Okay, so at this point you're probably thinking, my debt is a lot more than my salary. How can I pay it off even when I don't make enough? Well, if you're serious about financial freedom, you've got to sacrifice some blood, sweat, and tears. Your 9 to 5 might not cut it. And if that's the case, you need to step up and look for money outside your current job. Some experts recommend having 7 streams of income. If you have a 9 to 5, congratulations. You have 1. Now you have only 6 more streams to go. Now you can look at the sources of income in 2 ways. Active income, which is you trading your time for money, or passive income, money that can keep coming in even while you sleep. If you trade your time for money, you're limited by the hours of the day. To discover an easy option, go to www.automatedentrepreneur.ca. The last financial freedom tip is an important one. Say you follow the advice and recommendations I've given and grow your savings. That might be enough to help you out right now, but what if the unexpected happens? Will you be prepared for it? It's important to set aside money for rainy days, retirement, and, sorry to be morbid, but in case you die, to help ensure your family doesn't drown paying for your funeral, your debts, and your taxes. Okay, now let's get back to a happy place. If you've got a 9 to 5 job, talk to your company HR about adding a retirement plan, or check to see if you've already been making deductions towards it. The deduction gets taken out before it hits your account, so you will never feel like you're losing money. And it's cool to check it out periodically to see how your savings are growing. Next, you'll also want to save enough money for an emergency fund. Some experts say $10,000, which is fine, while others say 6 months of your salary. And to be honest, those numbers can seem pretty high if you're not making a lot of money. So instead, start with a goal that you can afford, like $100 in your first month. And as you start earning more active or passive income, start increasing your goal to $500 a month. And then from $500, perhaps maybe $500 bi-weekly, and so forth. If you've overspent on credit and a high credit card bill comes up, don't use your emergency fund. Focus on taking up more active income opportunities so you can pay that down faster. The emergency fund is only for unplanned emergencies, like a tree crashing onto your house, a car accident you need to pay for out of pocket, or a visit to the hospital. By setting aside money for rainy days and retirement, you'll be less likely to end up back where you are now, wishing for financial freedom. Financial freedom can help you take ownership of your finances and, more importantly, your life. It's about living within your means, being a bit frugal, and making sure that money is spent on the things you really need, like food, shelter, and yes, vacations. Relaxation is important. By following the financial freedom tips that we've just discussed, you'll inch closer to achieving the financial freedom you deserve. So take a look at those finances, build additional streams of income, pay down debt, and before you know it, you will be financially free. If you could use a little extra help, check us out at www.automatedentrepreneur.ca. Go to the programs section and look for a program that will help you to pay down debt and understand the mechanics of investing.